Greetings, my fellow freedom-loving, sovereign thinkers. This is LL3's newest podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful Swamp Mangoes of South Florida. And today's date, Wednesday, April 13th, 2016. Oh, yeah, this is some really interesting stuff that's been happening, as I know, but it's going to be a real pretty short episode. And there's a few things I'm going to be talking about, but I was just catching my eye in a couple areas. I know everyone's talking about the whole Donald Trump tab that's happening in Palm Beach, like the county of Palm Beach is going to fit the tab for the so-called great billionaire Donald Trump himself on his speech at the rally he did down here like a month ago. So this is what happens when you get duped. And same with Hillary Clinton and all these politicians. They want you to pay for their speeches because they need to be protected by Secret Service and all the great county sheriffs and police officers. And they don't really give a damn about you. Okay, so that's how I say it's all in good faith. It doesn't matter what side you're on in this area, but I'm just going to keep that a little brief. This is not really as essential. However, it's just a couple of things that's really caught my eye. And I just got this one from The Guardian. Oh, they don't want me to read it. Okay, well, fail to do the article. I'm going to do it one more time. If not, I'll just read it as it is. Oh, here it is. Yes. It came out today. This is it's pretty controversial. It's been talking about this for a good period of time. This is here. The hidden how Chicago police kept thousands isolated at Homan Square by Spencer Ackerman from The Guardian U.S. to be exact. It says here, for nearly 2 decades when Chicago's police brought people under arrest to their detentions and interrogations warehouse, not even the vast majority of the police knew where they were, according to the new internal memo acquired by The Guardian. Homan Square, a warehouse complex headquartering narcotics, vice, and intelligence units for the Chicago police, has also served as a secretive facility for detaining and interrogating thousands of people without providing access to attorneys and with little way for their loved ones to find them. Could we say kidnapping in the Windy City? Records documenting the presence of someone at Homan Square, especially while they are there, have existed largely outside Chicago's police electronic records system. Now, documents and evidence from senior officers have for the first time disclosed detailed official accounts of how police based at the unit were able to operate and how it was almost impossible to tell who was being held inside. And there's some related articles to that as well, my friends. And I do remember, if I'm correct, truthout.org did an article on this as well. So it's very controversial. Can we say police state 101? I will continue on. Dispositions of senior officers, memorandums for the current police chief, and other internal police records portray Chicago police procedures and record keeping that obscured visibility into Homan Square apparatus of detentions, both to the public and even to the police themselves. Ooh. Can we say in 1984, my friends? The records and supporting testimony portrayed a complicated system of documentation that helps explain how Chicago police, particularly from the Bureau of Organized Crime, could use their headquarters for incommodation detentions and interrogation without attracting significant public notice. Integrations are the purpose of the communicado detentions, police depositions indicate. In practice, police leverage an arrestee inability to notify relatives or lawyers about their whereabouts, a perilous position from a civil rights perspective to generate information about guns or drugs on Chicago's streets. Well, over the year into The Guardian ongoing expose of what happened inside Homan Square, it appears that police have recently changed their logging procedures here. Prior to 2016, the electronic record that could determine with any certainty that an individual was at the Homan Square facility is via the arrestee movement record and the automated arrest application. Randolph Nichols, a senior officer in the Chicago Police Research Department, wrote to Acting Superintendent John J. Escalante in an 11th March memo about the Guardian's Freedom of Information lawsuit into Homan Square. If a police indication of changes to the logging system, Nichols told the Guardian in a September deposition that the police actually created a unit the other day for Homan Square arrest processing. Chicago police did not respond to a detailed list of the questions before application. According to the records, the Guardian's lawsuit has compelled the police to disclose the arrestee movement records, which detail police moving a detainee from a regular police station to Homan Square and back are a small fraction of Homan Square arrests. The digitized record shows 275 between 2004 to mid-2015 that, by Nichols' explanation, would have been accessible to police outside the warehouse. However, unavailable to the public, those 275 arrests represent less than 4% of the 7,351 arrests at Homan Square during that time period thus far disclosed. Asked how members of the public can find anyone held at Homan Square while police hold them, in in a senior and a police official said in sworn deposition, "I don't know that you can common paradoxically." And it's one of the questions here on the queue. Finally, number 18, documentation of the records made available commentary to the public for the individuals to the Homan Square. So Joe's at Homan Square. How can you find it as made public? I don't know if you can find it commentary. Of course, the question sits here. It goes further. If Joe can take it to a district, would be able to find out as a member of the public. His answer, I don't believe so. So this is like really hush hush secret. They don't want even the people in Chicago to know. So you can say this, my friends, the people's tax dollars is being extorted to make this all quiet. As far as I'm concerned, the people in Chicago have the right to know what the hell is going on in their own city. Okay, I'm going to continue on here. Of course, Chicago attorney Julia Bartime's comments, there was no accessible lobby or desk office at Homan Square. I usually had to know the name of the officer that had picked up my client and asked to speak out to the officer to verify my client's location. There's a photograph in that deposition of William Kilroy. So police contend that the Guardian's coverage of Homan Square overemphasizes the secrecy surrounding the warehouse's detention and interrogation practices, but in court they also conceded the secrecy and argued for its necessity on the grounds that a normal police station vastly more open to the public cannot accommodate undercover officers. Oh, up yours. Okay? It's like 007. Come on, give me a break. Police at Homan might try to turn them into a confidential informant, so you want some privacy to do that. In a district facility, you don't have any privacy, Nichols said in the deposition. Some districts do not have the facility to keep covert or undercover officers. Lieutenant William Kilroy, a senior narcotics officer at Homan Square based a Bureau of Organized Crime, said in his November deposition. The impact at this arrest, the interrogation of more than 7,000 people, was able to happen without public notification of their whereabouts at a warehouse in Power to take an arrest from around the city. Fewer than 1% of those held at Homan Square had access to an attorney. At least 14 men in custody were punched, struck with nightsticks, slapped, tasered, or subjected to another form of physical violence at Homan Square, according to Chicago police records, which also show at least 2 people were taken to the warehouse, died there. A untold number of people were arrested for petty offenses. Interrogation at Homan Square converted into informants and let go. While most arrests concern guns and drugs consistent with the narcotics anti-gang and vice units operating out of the warehouse, others deal with less insurgent crime priorities. According to police documents, at least 11 people observed by investigators of the Recording Industry Association of America selling bootleg CDs and DVDs, including Jay-Z albums and Marvel's Iron Man movies, were taken to Homan Square for processing. A woman was transported to Homan Square for processing after police observing a fenced location for stolen goods found her with 2 cans of Taster's Choice caffeinated coffee with Walgreens anti-theft stickers. Very frequently, someone arrested at Homan Square will not be subsequently charged with a crime, said Kilroy to the senior narcotics officer, adding, they convert into a cooperating individual. Kilroy took an issue with various aspects of the Guardian's reporting on Homan Square. He said that officers never hold arrestees overnight at the warehouse, something numerous former detainees had described in the Guardian interview. Kilroy described a substantial amount of routine procedure at Homan Square as part of a deposition for ongoing transparency lawsuit concerning records from the warehouse. The lieutenant said, while arrests are electronically filed citywide, many other records for taken to Homan Square were separated from electronic files accessible by police based out of the warehouse. Homan Square-based police, who fall under the umbrella of the Bureau of Organized Crime, do not electronic case reporting, Kilroy testified. Everybody outside the Bureau does electronic cases reporting. We do hard copy paper case reporting. Explaining the distinction, Kilroy said the case reports as well as related supplemental files are documents that provided additional detail about an investigation. While an arrest report center of an arrestee, the case reports exist physically, not digitally, in a secure office inside secure filing cabinets inside Homan Square. Some 75% of Homan Square arrests thus far acknowledged by the Chicago police are narcotics arrests, which fall under the purview of the paper-centric Bureau of Organized Crime. Publicly available arrest reports for people known to be held at Homan Square, viewed by The Guardian, do not always indicate their presence at the warehouse, despite the police's March 2015 fact sheet claiming officers will create an automated arrest report which identifies the location of the arrestee. The arrest report in any case is generated after someone is held at Homan Square, which does not perform bookings. Kilroy continued, everyone who's brought up into a Homan is logged in or should be logged in. I can't say it's 100%, but that's what we require. The officers that once they secure them, one in of the interviews room, they immediately proceed to the 24-hour desk where the paper's logged and they write the name of the arrestee and the officer and what room they've placed in. The paper logs do not necessarily distinguish the people under arrest and people acting as police informants. Kilroy has said in the sworn deposition, the Guardian is currently negotiating with the police over disclosures of the paper logs, or the only comprehensive records that can reveal the full extent of incommunicado detentions at the warehouse. As far as I'm concerned, that should be open, period, to the public. You don't know these little special negotiating. That's all garbage, as far as I'm concerned. All right, I'm going to continue on here. Kilroy indicated that police have developed less formal ways of letting worried relatives or confused attorneys know where their loved ones or clients are. Homan Square police notified this district of arrest that we have that. Wow, after that, we that have taken this person into custody, Kilroy said, but he was not certain if watch commanders at the stations record as local arrests at Homan Square on a watch log or reference when relatives or attorneys are unable to find their loved ones or clients come calling. Kilroy estimated that there has been 6 or 7 attorneys who have come to Homan Square over the past, 5, 10 years. It's been that infrequent. Chicago police have disclosed 86 attorney visits over the past decade, 9 of which after the Guardian's report on the warehouse began, and say, through their lawyers, the tally is comprehensive. At least 2 arrestees who the disclosures can't say receive lawyers have denied it to the Guardian. Lawyers interviewed by the Guardian have said that they have been turned away from Homan Square where they can keep seeking their clients. Last year, attorney Cliff Nellis said, when we arrived at the Homan Square seeking a client in 2014, police told him this isn't a police station, we don't have people here. Nellis and other attorneys said that frequent after police turned them away at Homan Square, their clients materialized hours later at a nearby 11th District Police Station. But Homan Square does not conduct detentions to punish crime or pretrial holdings. It's a holding cell and interview rooms where interrogations occur are all the same thing, Kilroy said. When the police take arrested people to Homan Square, the officers will take that person out of the vehicle, then walk them through a series door to a secure stairway that leads directly up to the interview rooms, Kilroy said. Nichols, the officer in the research division, explained police taking arrestees to Homan Square in the context of interrogation. Sometimes, especially Homan Square and detectives, they want to interview people, try to get more information, to try to turn evidence on the co-conspirators or other people, get more information on gangs and things like that, Nichols said in the disposition. Once inside, a few people under arrest have any way to communicate with the outside world. Only 2 people, both white, have ever told Guardian they have been able to make phone calls while detained at Homan Square, and both were from personal cell phones. We don't have facilities for them to make phone calls from our. We're not set up as a booking facility. We're just a temporary holding facility. What the hell does that mean? Don't make any sense. Like Kilroy said. We don't have payphones. On a rare occasion, a person has been allowed to make a phone call on his or her personal cell phone number, but that is rare because it is part of an ongoing investigation. We would never allow it. If the investigation was concluded, there was no risk to conduct of a further investigation, and the person says, listen, I just want to call my mom and let her know I'm okay, guys. I have done that. But it's very difficult because the we have very poor reception in that building. I lean back in the chair and my cell phone gets 0 bars. I move forward, I can get a call. The U.S. Justice Department has opened an inquiry into the Chicago Police Department's patterns and practices. In January, Cook County Board of Commissioners, which oversees county containing Chicago, voted to recommend the department investigate Homan Square. Okay, so that's some good things about that. But one thing, if this thing goes all the way through, as far as I'm concerned, I said just detonate that damn building and demolish it and take it to oblivion. This is pretty damn insulting when you think about it. This is another example, even with the war on drugs. Okay, if we end the drug war, even in Illinois, you don't need places like that. There's all these little secret hideouts on your own tax dollars, as in Chicago and the state of Illinois as well. You have to really pay attention to this. And I'm just saying, this is just an example of what's going on around the country and the world, okay? So we got to really you got to let these people know you're the boss. I find this very unacceptable. I'm not, and I see this happening a lot, even in my county. I'm not afraid to call out these bastards by any means, because to me, they're nothing more than tyrannical parasites that want to suck you dry, manipulate you, and make you go on your hands and knees. This is why I say this. I condemn this with a passion. I say, demolish this thing to the core, and anyone that's involved in this, including the police chiefs and the mayors, they should be held accountable. And anyone else that's involved. I know the big conspiracy, whatever, conspiracy. It's not conspiracy theory, okay? It's a conspiracy fact that this is going on, and I know in my heart and soul, a lot of people who represent the city of Chicago know about this and didn't say a word, and that's your business, the citizens in that city. You have the right to know what's going on. You don't need any little secret groups that on your tax dollars, you can't do this, you can't do that, you don't have rights. I condemn it. All right. The fact is, you have the right. They can't incriminate you. You have the right. You have the right to get a phone call. You have the right to have an attorney. Okay. Either within your state constitution. I'm going to add that. I'm going to add the Illinois Constitution in here as well, so you guys can look at it yourselves. Don't be afraid of these bastards. Okay. This is why I get really touchy in these areas, because when it comes to tyranny, yeah, that's a hot button for me. And if everyone could go, okay, boss. Okay, boss. Don't be a bunch of Uncle Toms, Aunt Jemimas, bend over Bobs, and Barbies to this governmental establishment. That's how I see things, my friends. I'm going to add the Illinois Constitution on here in good faith, so everyone can really know what's going on, because as far as I'm concerned, it's completely unacceptable detaining people without due process. Oh, temporary, yeah, my butt. I don't really buy that whatsoever. And this will be definitely Bill of Rights, Article 1. Read it, love it, learn it, live it. Don't cry to the attorney all the time. It's time for everyone to start being your own individual. The rights are inalienable, and you have the right not to be incriminated. They don't have to tell you a damn thing. They'll try to give you these bogus deals whatsoever. Tell them to stick it, Chicago. I don't be surprised if Rahm Emanuel is involved. He should be held accountable as well. And all his little lackeys. Gonzo. You got Gonzo for mayor. You should tell him to stick it. That's all I gotta say. I'm ranting right now, and I do apologize. All right, next one here, which is pretty intriguing. It's Under Mysterious Earth. Came out a couple of days ago. And it says, Noah's Ark has been found. Why are they keeping us in the dark? And I don't care if you believe in the Bible or not, but it's an interesting little story about Noah's Ark, okay? It says here, I'm often amazed at our lack of knowledge about history. Ordinary people are hungry for this information, yet the organizations responsible to decimate these facts seem to have an agenda to keep us in the dark. This is especially true when it comes to our ancient human history. I won't hold you in suspense with this article. The Ark of Noah has been found. It's real. I describe the evidence in some detail and end with historical and religious implications. How it was discovered. In 1959, Turkish Army Captain Leon Durpinar discovered an unusual shape examining aerial photographs of his country. The smooth shape, larger than a football field, stood out from the rough and rocky terrain at an altitude of 6,300 feet near the Turkish border with Iran. Captain Durham Bernard was familiar with the biblical accounts of the Ark and its associations with Mount Ararat in Turkey, but he was reluctant to jump to any conclusions. The region was very remote, yet it was inhabited with small villages. No previous reports of an object this odd has been made before, so he forwarded the photographic negative to a famous aerial photography expert named Dr. Brandon Berger at Ohio State University. Brandon Berger was responsible for discovering the Cuban Missile Bases during the Kennedy era from reconnaissance photos, and after carefully studying the photo, he concluded, I have no doubt at all that this object is a ship. In my entire career, I'd never seen an object like this on a stereo photo. In 1960, the picture above was published in Life magazine under the headings of Noah's Ark with a question mark. As the same group of Americans accompanied Captain Durapanar to the site for a day and a half, they were expecting to find artifacts on the surface or something that would be unquestionably related to the ship of some kind. They did some digging in the area, but found nothing conclusive and announced to the anxiously waiting world that it appeared to be natural formation. Most of the global media turned away from the find and became a non-story. In 1977, Ron Wyatt visited the site. Obtaining official permission, Ron and others conducted through thorough research over a period of several years. They used metal detection surveys, subsurface radar scans, and chemical analysis. Real science. After their findings were startling, evidence was undeniable. This was the Ark of Noah. The visual evidence. The first part of the survey was examined to object takes in its measurements. The shape looked like a hole of a ship. One end was pointed and was expected to bow, and the opposite end was a blunt like a stern. Distance from the bow to stern was 515 feet, or exactly 300 Egyptian cubits. An average width of 50 cubits. These were exact measurements mentioned in the Bible. On the starboard side, the stern, which you see the photos here too, folks. I'll put all these footnotes on my show, on my speaker page, okay? On the starboard side, near the stern, there are four vertical bulges protruding from the mud at regular intervals that were determined to be the ribs of the hull. Opposite these, on the port side, a single rib protrudes from the mud. You can see its curved shape very clearly. Surrounding it are more ribs, still largely buried in the mud, but visible upon close examination. Remember that this object, if it is the Ark, is extremely old. The wood has been petrified. Organic matter has been replaced by minerals from the earth. The only shapes and traces of the original wood remain. Perhaps this is why the expedition in 1960 was disappointed. The anticipated findings and retrieving chunks of wood long since eroded. From the position of the object in the middle of an obvious mud flow, it is obvious that the subject slid down more than a mile from its original location. Geologists believe it was originally over 1,000 feet higher in the mountain and encased in a shell of hardened mud. They think that an earthquake in 1948 cracked the mud shell and revealed the structure. This is confirmed by stories from surrounding villagers who tell of its sudden appearance around that time. Biblical accounts of the ark describe it having many as 6 levels. The assumed shape of the ark seems consistent with the bulge in the middle of the object. In fact, as we will soon learn, radar scans of the structure suggest that this bulge is collapsed debris of these levels. Although most people think of the ark as being rectangular, that only applies to the top decks. The sleek shape of the hull is necessary to enable the huge ship to remain stable in the water and survive tremendous waves. Ground penetrating radar. The human eye needs to see reflected light to recognize an object, to visualize what remains below the earth. Scientists use microwaves which can penetrate the ground and bounce back when they hit something solid. That technique is commonly used to relocate oil and other minerals. They're called ground penetrating radar or GPR. The apparatus was made from an antenna that transmits, then listens to receive the echo and prints the result on a piece of paper. The delay and strength of this echo tells geologists how and at what depths the object are under the earth. The team of geologists didn't scan the entire object. Instead, they marked out lines across the object with yellow tape. Then they dragged the antenna about the size of a lawnmower over the lines and watched the output on the paper recorder. When they got a strong hit, meaning there was something solid underneath, they would record the position on the tape. Later, when they made a map of the object and tape and the location of this hit, they realized that was indeed the structure underneath the mud. This data does not represent natural geology. These are man-made structures. These reflections are appearing too periodic to be random in that type of natural pace. Ron Wyatt of SIR Imaging Team. The radars can reveal the structure under the mud. The symmetry and logical placement of these objects show that this is unmistakably a man-made structure, most likely the Ark of Noah. So this is like really interesting stuff here. So I'm going to continue on here. Artifacts retrieved from the Ark. Using GPR, Ron White discovered an open cavity on the starboard side. He used an improvised drill to make a core sample in this cavity and retrieved several very interesting objects. Below you can see artifacts which were sent for laboratory analysis. On the left, the boar so, followed by what turned out to be a petrified animal dung, which is like it's manure, then petrified antler, lastly a piece of cat hair. Perhaps the most significant find from the Ark itself is a piece of petrified wood. When it was found, it appeared to be a large beam, but upon close examination, it is actually 3 pieces of plank that have been laminated together with some kind of organic glue. It is the same technology when used in modern plywood. The lamination makes the total strength of the wood much greater than the combined strength of the pieces. This suggests a knowledge of construction far beyond anything we knew existed in the ancient world. Examination reveals the glue oozed from the layers. The outside wood appears to have been coated with bitumen. Even more surprising were laboratory's analysis, which not only revealed that the petrified wood contained carbon, proving it was once wood, but there were iron nails embedded in the wood. We like to imagine that humanity evolved in a neat sequence of eras, each named after technology that was discovered. We have the Stone Age, where man developed arrows and stone tools. The Bronze Age, where metals were combined and heated to make tools and household items. And lastly, the Iron Age, where iron and steel objects were made by heating iron ore and adding other material like charcoal to strengthen it. The Iron Age is usually placed at 1200 to 1000 BC or BCE, wherever it floats your boat, folks. Yet, we have iron nails being used in this extremely old construction. But wait, there is more. The most surprising find was discovered with sensitive metal detectors. The team located several strong hits that, when dug up, revealed large disc-shaped rivets. For simple observation of metal, it was possible to see where the rivet had been hammered after being inserted through a hole. If the rivet being used in ancient construction doesn't impress you, this surely will. Analysis of the metal used to make these rivets revealed that they were a combination of iron 8.38%, aluminum 8.35%, and titanium 1.39%. Remember, these trace metals have survived petrification and so do not indicate the exact content in the original material. And there's a link for the C report from Galbraith Labs. We know the aluminum was incorporated in the metal metallic mixture because it does not exist in metallic form in nature. This implies an extremely advanced knowledge of metallurgy and engineering. Characteristics of an iron aluminum alloy have been investigated in the Russian Chemical Bulletin that's in 2005 and revealed that this alloy forms a thin film of aluminum oxide which protects the material from rust and corrosion. The addition of titanium would provide added strength. This seems to have worked. The rivets have survived from antiquity. The surrounding areas, several miles from the location of the ark, huge stones were discovered, some standing upright while others lying on the ground. These stones, weighing many tons, have holes carved in them. Scientists have determined that they were anchors and the holes would have been their attachment to a ship with hemp rope. Often these stones will have crosses carved in them from centuries ago when pilgrims made the journey to visit the ark. Yes, the Ark was well known in the Middle Ages and even before, and its location was recorded in many historical documents. And the Ark rested in the seventh month of the 17th day of the month upon the mountains of Ararat, and the waters decreased continually until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the first day of the month, were tops of the mountains seen. That's from Genesis chapter 8, verses 4 through 5. Okay? The the Gilgamesh epic, 650 BC, gives Mount Nisr as the landing place of the Ark. The local name for the town where the Ark was found, called Nisr. The Annals of Ashurnasirpal II of Assyria, from 1833 to 1859 BC, place it south of Zab River correct. Theopius of Antioch, from 115 to 185 AD, said the ark could be seen in his days in the Arabian mountain. Later, church fathers also mentioned the ark as late in the mid-7th century. In the 13th century, a William Traveller stated for the first time that Mount Massis was the ark location, present-day Mount Ararat. Ptolemy Geographia 1548 mentions the mountain of Armenia as the place of landing. So does the traveler Nicholas de, Nicolae in 1558. Pilgrims to the site will gather bits and pieces of the petrified wood which would be used as charms to ward off evil. When they encountered the anchors, they had no doubt about their association with the ark. They often carved out one big cross to represent Noah and smaller crosses representing his family. The huge anchors had been suspended from the keel of the ship. This was a commonplace among ancient mariners to stabilize a heavy ship to ensure that the boat is always facing the oncoming waves. A top-heavy ship such as the ark could easily be capsized by a wave approaching from the side. This is yet further proof that Noah's Ark was a reality, and that has indeed been found in Turkey. It's really interesting because I remember watching this movie with my mother, and when I was in Brooklyn, New York, the Meserole Theater to be exact. I don't know if it's still there or not. It was A Search of Noah's Ark, and I do recall said it was like they said that the Ark was in Turkey. So there's an interesting documentary about looking for the Ark and so forth, and it's always been a mystery. However, if there's actually there's past documentation says it did exist and they have remnants, you know what? It can have merit. And I don't care what your belief system is. You have to always look at the story behind all these areas. So that's why, in good faith, I always tell folks to do a little homework on this. And I'm pretty convinced that the art did exist because man was more complex than what we think, what we are capable of doing. But they want to hide that from us because when you think about it, the hidden knowledge, which cult means hidden knowledge, by the way, they want us to be dumb, stagnant, and happy. Okay, so it's like I said, I always observe these, and I do think it's pretty cool little story. MysteriousEarth.net, because you never know, my friends. So always, like I said, always examine things thoroughly. Don't try to jump with the hype, but do your own homework in this area. So I'm convinced, in respect, yeah, I believe Noah did exist, and so did the Ark. Doesn't matter what your belief system is. Remember, the Bible in Greek means the book of multiple books. So it's various information in there. That's why I tell folks you got to see things a lot bigger, broader. Okay, and beware of beware of the jack-o'-lanterns. They're trying to use it for their own personal powers. All right, so that's why I say always observe responsibly. Well, this one here is an old one, but it's disturbing. It came out April 8th to be exact by Joseph Jankowski, and I got this on Twitter through Activist Post, which I follow. Good site to check out. And it says here about Japan's plan to test fingerprints. Okay, let's fix fingerprints. Let me just check this out, see if I'm on. Oh yeah, I am still on. Okay, and it's interesting here because it says here about Jankowski. And it says here, begin this summer, the Japanese government will test a system in which foreign tourists will be able to use their fingerprints to make purchase. Japan's news reports the government hopes to increase the number of foreign tourists by using the system to prevent crime and relieve users from the necessity of carrying cash or credit cards. Oh yeah, but the government, you can trust them, right? I can dream about it. A police state will make me feel safe. I will continue on. It aims to realize the system by the 2020 Tokyo Olympic and Paralympic Games. Make sure you have your radiation suits over there, please. I love the Japanese people. They're awesome. But I hate seeing these people suffer what happened in Fukushima. So, folks, go there, be ready, get prepared, try to be radiation free. All right. The experiment will have inbound tourists register their fingerprints and other data, such as credit card information, at airports and elsewhere. So they want your sperm count, I would say, right? Or DNA. Yeah, I can trust them. They're good people. Please. Tourists would then be able to conduct tax exemption procedures and make purchases, but after verifying their identities by placing two fingers on a special device installed at stores. Data concerning how and where foreign tourists use the system will be managed by a consultative body led by the government after the data is converted to anonymous big data. Japan hopes that the system can become realized throughout the country by the time of the Tokyo Olympic Games. Can we see THX 1138? The Japanese government is unsure how tourists are going to embrace the fingerprint as currency scheme, but says its goal to attract foreigners with the idea. Suck them in, entrapment. Japan would like to increase its annual number of foreign tourists to 40 million by 2020, reports Japan News. It is interesting that the government would choose to take fingerprints as cash, considering that some are undoubtedly going to be vary of privacy implications and the fact that this less invasive way to get cashless exists. Could this be part of a bigger plan to collect personal data and phase cash out? I would say hell yeah. Are you kidding? If you think folks, you gotta say, oh no, it won't. Then you're in La La Land, okay? You're in the Twilight Zone, Bizarro world, all right? In Japan, cash is already being phased out by phone wallet services. I've seen that happen over here in the United States, so I understand what they're talking about. One of the popular services has over 50 million users. Good grief, man. Woo. There's a link for that too to check it out. The plan to phase out cash has openly been discussed in Japan and around the world for quite some time now. That's right. God bless the New World Order. Imperialism is the only way. Take a look at this Washington Post article. It was a telltale sound of Japan's new electronic money. In seconds, Nashihimoto has paid for his meal of sea urchin, eels, and raw fish and was hustling back to work. Oh my goodness, that's so convenient. No change from cash register, no waiting for confirmation, no PIN code to enter. Who needs carry real money? To the commercial real estate manager. I don't even carry a wallet with me anymore. Yeah, but if your shit gets hacked, if you get hacked, you're screwed. Nashihimoto is part of the latest trend in Japan where society is rethinking commerce by doing away with the increasingly arcane concept of cash. Technology analysts said the use of electronic money amounts to a leap forward in commerce and shopping, using cell phones that transmit infrared signals, or as in Nashimoto's case, a smart card that doubles as a set of electronic keys and let him earn airline miles, which each use. Japanese consumers are whisking throughout checkout lines, buying everything from sushi to furniture without even yanking out their wallets. Wow, I am so fascinated with that. I want to wear my cowbell and go, moo. I want to be part of the herd conformity. Yeah, follow the herd. just another cow. Users can add value to their cars or cell phones at thousands of automated docking stations around the country where they insert paper money and get credit for e-cash. So you can also use credit cards to replenish e-cash on the internet. Hallelujah, 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 yay. Yeah, this is actually, he's a contributor. Joseph J. Cassidy is a contributor for planetfreewill.com. This is what I gotta say, my friends. If you're gonna buy this hype, then you're screwed. Keep sound money handy because you never know. All right. This is what they're trying to do. Doesn't matter if you believe in the mark of the beast or not. They all want us to have chips in our bodies, you have these stupid ass e-cash cards or these electronic wallets. Come on, now the fingerprints, nothing new. Like remember if you remember seeing that movie Back to the Future 2, the thumbprint, okay, for the cabbies and all that? Very similar, right? Yeah, what a coincidence, my friends. It's all trying to make you be swindled, conned, and go, you can trust us. We know better than you. I just tell them to stick it, as far as I'm concerned. I've been using stick it too many times, so I digress in that, and I do apologize, my friends. This really gets my goat. This is why I expect when this time comes, expect the real honorable people, the Mavericks, the Ragtags, the rebels around the world will do trade zones, gold and silver, and you know what? That will be a better it'd be a better deal even for Japan. You better think twice on what you're gonna support, because soon as it be the foreign tourists, next it will be you, which is occurring right now as we speak. They're doing this in Sweden, Germany. Okay, they're all talking about the all cashless societies. You know what? Don't buy that hoopla. It's just totally ludicrous and deceiving. Like I said before, government in Latin means to control the mind. Plain and simple, self-explanatory. And this is another platform from your enemies called the New World Order. And I am going to end it from there. Finally, some cool positive news came out from azcentral.com. This is really beautiful because it says here, it's actually from Daniel Quijia from the Republic. It says here, 72-year-old Tucson woman, dog survived 9 days in Arizona wilderness. There's a video for that, but do a full screen, but I want to read it from here. 72-year-old Tucson woman survived 9 days in the Arizona wilderness. And it says here, a 72-year-old woman and her dog survived in Gala County wilderness for 9 days before being rescued by the Arizona Department of Public Safety on Saturday. Watch it. Ann Rogers, 72, spelled out the word help using sticks and rocks in an effort to be rescued after being stranded for over a week, according to the Arizona Department of Public Safety. 72-year-old woman and her dog survived in the Gala County wilderness for 9 days after being rescued by the Arizona. I'm repeating this off here. Sorry about that, my friends. Ann Rogers and her dog survived by drinking creek water and eating berries and plants. According to reports by law enforcement officials, a week-long multi-agency search ended with a helicopter crew rounding in a bend in the canyon to find her waving at them from below. Rogers had done her best to guide searchers as she spelled out help in sticks and rocks on a canyon floor, hoping to gain attention. And there's a post on here too. It came out on the 11th. In her words, Rogers recounted her harrowing experience. She was suffering from exposure, but in fair condition. She was spotted at the DPS Air Rescue Unit with lost with no gas and no cell phone reception. Rogers and her dog set out March 31st on a trip to Phoenix from Tucson, according to DPS. Although she was planning to arrive in Phoenix to celebrate her birthday, which was on April 4th, Rogers told a White Mountain Apache Tribe game and fish officer that she was heading towards Sholo when she ran out of gas. Rogers saw an opportunity to refuel at CBQ exit, but she became lost and began her 9-day ordeal, according to Johnny Holmes, a detective with the Tribal Game and Fishing Agency. Rogers climbed several ridge lines to try to find cell phone service to contact someone for help, but was able to establish any working condition. For the next week and a half, Rogers and her dog stranded on a distant search of background roads. Her vehicle was found on April 3rd. DPS officials said the agency Ranger helicopters were sent out of the aerial search of the area but were not able to find Rogers. Holmes said he and other tribal officers and searchers from several law enforcement agencies, including the Gila County Sheriff Office and Gila County Search, participated in the hunt. The Holmes said they began looking for Rogers April 4th and did not stop pounding around the ground until they found her. The truth of the events was shock to her family. Holmes said that when officers attempted to contact Rogers' family members early last week, they did not realize she had gone missing. On Saturday, a White Mountain Apache tribe game and fish officers spotted Rogers' dog walking out of the Canyon Creek area as searchers were heading for the higher ground for a better vantage point. The DPS Ranger cruiser from Flagstaff began another aerial search. This time, the crew saw the word help spelled out in sticks and stones across the canyon floor. DPS said a handwritten message was found underneath one of the rocks. The note, dated April 3rd, was written by Rogers, saying that she was out of food and water, was heading down the canyon. The helicopter continued searching, and farther down the canyon, the crew saw the shelter that seemed to have been abandoned by Rogers. Shortly after that, the craft rounded a bend in the canyon, and the crew said Rogers waved to the helicopter. She stood next to a signal fire. Rogers was able to board the helicopter with little assistance. She was treated and later released from Payson Hospital Saturday night, according to the Gila County Sheriff's Office. Holmes said Rogers told Mountain Apache tribe game and fish officer that she had survived off of berries, plants, and clean water from the nearby creek. She was found about 40 miles away from Highway 60, vulnerable to wildlife and weekend storms, Holmes said. He said that Rogers' ability to help rescuers track her by leaving distress signals of help, sign in the note, played a major role in the rescue. If she didn't do her part, she might be still out there looking for her. We might be still out there looking for her, Holmes said. She partook on her own rescue by giving our guys clues to find and follow where she was. So, survival experts are studying set of events. Cody London, a professional survival instructor out of Prescott, said Rogers' ability has survived 9 days in the wild, as was very rare, statistically abnormal, and freakish. One moment, please. Sorry about that. Get a shot of water. London explained that when people are lost in the wilderness, they normally are found within 3 days or less. Even trained survivors are at risk when they face conditions similar to those Rogers faced, she said. While most important thing, she is still alive. A better avenue for survival may have been for Rogers to have stayed in her vehicle, which was more visible and thus easier for authorities to find. The biggest threat Rogers could have faced would have been hypothermia from the cold weather and storm. If it was a different season, she would not have lived, London said. Arizona can be a brutal state to stay alive in because we have mountains and deserts and everything in between. London said that with any trip, it is crucial that you inform others about your travel plans in case you get lost. The Reverend Lee Milligan, pastor of Rogers Church, Casa Abdos Congregational UCC in Tucson, said he and the church were relieved that she was found and rescued. We are praying that she was found, and we are happy to see she was. Men stranded on a desert. Okay, that's a different thing here. But I gotta say, yeah, they have some good pointers in here about she could have stayed in her vehicle. But you know what? She survived. She ate. She drank water, and she was blessed. So I think Miss Rogers, hey, she did. Anna Rogers did what she had to do, and you know what? I think it's awesome. I think it's real good news because one thing I tell folks, human nature is a lot more complex than what we think. We can live off the land. We can find ways of surviving. I think this is why I get fascinated with this news because it is say anything can be accomplished. This is why when I hear all this negative garbage around me, they all hear complaining and whining, and they don't want to take action. They just need to shut your mouths. Stop hating yourself. Because you never know. Because one day there's some people out there that may give you a hand. Don't go around living this screw me, everyone but me. It's not, you're going to fail. Mrs. Ann Rogers is a perfect example how she survived. Yeah, like I said, she could have been she could have stayed in the vehicle, but you know what? She took that chance, trying to learn. She learned something, and her dog, and she's an elderly person, a senior citizen that went through this. And at least it's around the springtime, not during summer, because summer could be real brutal in Arizona. I've been out there, I can say that. New Mexico as well, especially Albuquerque, Four Corners area. Yeah, it can be real hot. So I understand that. But like I said, anything can be achieved so long as you put your mind to it and be around people with positive energy. To be around a bunch of negative ingrates, they're gonna suck you in, make you feel drained, and get gray real quick. Especially the ones that have the attributes of psychic vampires. And many people understand what I'm talking about. Yeah, I gotta give this lady homage. It reminds me of the time when in Florida they want to say they don't have they're trying to do some legislation, say to have an age that you're too old to drive. Well, there's one lady, 84 years old, vehicle went over on 595, landed on the tree, and she survived for 3 days drinking rainwater. And you know what? They had to scrap that a referendum. You're never too old to learn. You're never too old to do anything. You're all going to have health issues, so always maintain your health the best of your ability. I'm still doing this. We all have our bad habits. We have our flaws. But one thing I got to say, never give up on life. Never. If you do, you'll be hurting everyone around you, especially yourself. That's all I'm going to say about it. Oh, yeah. I'd like to thank everyone for listening to the show. Plus, feel free to download and share this throughout your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, compliments, criticisms, love letters, hate letters, don't matter. Or you're going to send me something that's pretty cool or interesting I may want to check out. I'm pretty open. However, please send your correspondences with decorum, which many of you have, and I thank you. You can hit me on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Freedoms Network, and Scene.life. Or you can email me at lookyluck3@gmail.com. Before I sign off, I'm going to play a cool song. Actually, it was done by the late Gary Moore and this band from Finland, now symphonic, like I call it Nordic now, but originally from Finland. The band called Nightwish. They had Tarja doing vocals at the time, and the song they did is called "Over the Hills and Far Away." When I heard this, I was very pleased and happy and impressed because I'm a Gary Moore fan for his time. So may his soul be forever free, by the way. And people who are Gary Moore fans understand where I'm coming from on that. But it's a real good song, real good cover song. I'm very pleased to hear it. I still enjoy it on this day. All right. So all I have to say, remember, always remember. I say always twice in one sentence. Always remember, my friends, that demonic resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves, keep on spreading the love, and may your guardian spirits be with you. Enjoy the song, and have a nice day. Bye.
Pistol had been found. feel